Present. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Brennan.
They know our names.
Yeah, say your name for you folks.
Alright, Nick.
Kelsey. And Anne.
And our project is Kitchen Community. So we're working with an organization that installs like raised beds and learning gardens in schools in order to increase the utility of their gardens. So this week we conducted user interviews with teachers in addition to visiting a farmasorium. And based on what we found, we went through and came up with how can we's and we clustered them. And based on the how can we's we clustered, we did some brainstorming for each of the categories. And then we voted on ideas and started fleshing out a few of them.
So we came up with an idea that for like signs in the garden, because we noticed a lot of the gardens had little homemade signs that had the name of the plant, and we decided to expand upon that to include other like classes other than just like an art class. So this would be like an example of a possibility for a sign. So it'll have like the name, and it can have it in like Spanish and French or something to add in other things. Then it could be like a little history part about like the history of the plant. Uses of the plant, a picture so people like seeing the sign could figure out what it matched with. And then we thought like a recipe so that you could include the healthy eating into that, and so they could take a little recipe card that you can make with that. And then we also did a section on math. So we were thinking you could draw like on the ground, you could draw lines and have like a string protractor or something like that, and have measuring sticks that go in the garden. Also like put stickers onto the garden beds so that they could have like the heights of the garden beds and the width, so they could do like area and stuff like that. We also had a thing to measure the amount of rain that came, a weather vane, and then something to measure humidity and temperature, just so they had like different things that they could incorporate math into this.
So basically, the different things that we're going to talk about, they'll fit into little kits. So each kit will have materials and also some guidance for the teachers for how to teach it in their classroom. And so some other kit ideas that we had were an engineering or a trellis kit. So how this would work would, we haven't figured out what kinds of engineering kind of devices we want, but we thought of like windmills, like solar panels, water wheels. So basically in the kit would be different tools that, like different parts that the kids could fit together to make whatever device that they wanted. And then another idea we had was art. So kind of part of the kit idea was to try to make the gardens more interdisciplinary, because we talked to a science teacher this week, and he kind of talked about how he didn't have enough time to incorporate the garden into his teaching if the students' sole exposure to the garden was through science classes. And so he talked about how he would like to see like different teachers in different subject areas be able to incorporate the garden into their lesson plans. And so we thought if we kind of like painted the garden beds with whiteboard paint, the students could write on it, draw on it, and then erase it. And then also we thought of the whiteboard wall, which could kind of they could write things like to-do lists for the garden, or they could draw pictures, and this could all be erasable and redone.
Yeah, so that was sort of one big vein of ideas that we had, which is like the kid idea. The other big idea that we kind of have is indoor gardens. We want like clearly more kids to be involved and more kids to have a sort of seed to mouth experience. So these are some of our indoor garden ideas. I have like a lobby sort of display garden where every class like gets their own section and they work on it together. This is a different garden design. This is sort of an idea for a window garden, like something like an air conditioner, but instead you stick like a garden out there so that it takes advantage of the heat in the winter, takes advantage of the heat from inside, and doesn't have to be heated outside. That's sort of, and there are more ideas back there on the indoor garden. That's sort of the second big idea that we have. We also have a lot of ideas that are sort of smaller that center around art, like painting a brick, encouraging trash disposal, decorating beds that could fit into a kit or could not fit into a kit, but they're sort of smaller ideas, and we don't think they warrant they don't make for a full blown project. So that's why we have decided to sort of focus on these 2 bays, but we're still thinking about those. So that's kind of where we are. We have like the undergarden, the kit ideas. A lot of stuff can fit into the kit. A lot of stuff can fit into the undergarden. And we have a lot of other sort of satellite ideas that we're trying to put together. So yeah, that's it. Thanks.